What we're trying to do is to influence changes within the industry that have the greatest effect.
What can we do collectively? How can we advance the industry? And why that's important is because the best kind of growth is market growth. When you grow the market, when you innovate, when you come up with new ways to bring customers into the market, when you find new solutions, when you advance and grow the entire market, then all boats rise.
That's why I feel fundamentally that we actually have to put a stake in the ground as a community. Just imagine if all of the companies who are represented as a part of A&A came together to work on recruiting, to work on development, to work on promoting. It would be remarkable.
When we focus on driving growth with our products and services and doing it in such a way that actually is good for the environment, that is sustainable, then we do both. We grow and we do good.
I think that as chief marketing officers and as industry leaders, you all have such tremendous influence over the advertising supply chain and over consumer behavior. Collaboration is really key there.
Take carbon out of the ecosystem in terms of the way we do the work that we do, as well as the work that we actually do. It leads to more efficiency, it leads to greater growth opportunities, and that ultimately is the name of the game. Green is good, and good is growth, so therefore, green is growth.
A fundamental rethink of the offering from a customer perspective, they got to 110%. But without the CMO voice, that wouldn't have been possible. And so mainstream green to us is that opportunity to make sustainability a growth strategy.
What is clear from all accounts, from student through CMO and beyond and everything in between, is there's no definition of what good actually looks like.
We've identified 5 career archetypes here: emerging, competent, proficient, expert, trailblazer. We see this as really obviously the key tool for capabilities leaders to be able to apply what we're sharing with them to their own business reality.
Our new challenge is to convince the diverse students of Gen Z that our industry aligns with their unique perspectives on life and offers careers, not just jobs, and builds on their inherent creativity.
Mobilizing marketing. So this is the ask of the industry and of all of you. 1, speak to students on campus, sign on as an AEF mentor, host a marketing and advertising education intern or interns, and then lend your voice to this campaign.
Through diversity and inclusion, but also equity, we can really effect meaningful reforms.
Content for Change is our platform across all of Paramount and the industry, and it is created to combat stereotype and bias. The really important thing here is that it comes from the ground up.
So much is impacted by algorithm bias. So we were asking ourselves, what could we do to intervene? And one was this idea of outsourcing to address the algorithm bias and humanitizing automation.
What's the playbook that we're going to have that we all hold ourselves accountable to so that in 12 months from now, there's an appreciable change in the way that we're all operating?
We know from experience that when we change the criteria, in other words, when we change the way the work is judged and also who is judging it, as well as monitoring how people are represented in the work itself, that has the power to create significant influence and change across the industry.
I want to introduce this piece of work with a quote from one of our speakers, Vicky Free, head of global marketing at Adidas. She was invited to speak at Cannes this year about game-changing creativity with a focus on DE&I. And she pointed out that our industry does not reflect the communities we serve, and that's exactly what the point of this piece of work is about really focusing on reflecting the communities we serve, especially underrepresented and marginalized communities.
The first is that we see that the organizations that outperform their competitors, they focus on multi-stakeholder growth. They literally think about each of their, what we call C's, their colleagues, their customers, of course, but also the communities and the capital markets. There's also something about the leaders themselves. We call them the Da Vinci growth leaders.
The CMO job has never been more important. And I'm watching the very best marketers on the planet gain credibility, build momentum, and driving growth through this humanized growth thing, which is important.
A lot of the conversations about how do you create better stories and how do you drive more inspiration really come down to how do you thread that needle between doing that as a one-to-one, one-to-few, one-to-many. And so a lot of the conversations about wanting to take risks around great creative and great stories usually come down to a lot of internal selling. How do we bring that to life and connect that to more of a human experience?
I think there's 3 superpowers if you're a change leader: simplicity, alignment, and enablement. I think that's a really great starting point to be a modern growth leader.